All right, so now I think I can kind of show how this all comes together. I showed the components and everything, and this is how they start to assemble. You can kind of see what I'm doing here. I've got the knife sheath or the stone case, and then I've got a ferro rod loop. So both of those will be actually on the face of this sheath. But I actually put a stitch along the bottom. And sewing 3 slabs of leather is really tough. What I actually end up doing is drilling my awl through, and it doesn't come all the way through, so you actually have to take it apart and then go over all the holes and just open them back up. This is just the best way I figured out how to do it. I know there's better ways and there's better tools, but what I want to show here is how this looks on the inside, kind of an X-ray version. Now, it'll be better if I do it like this. But you can see how the welt and the insert works. You can see how it the knife, sits in there, and then it just is all housed inside of that. And now the next step will be actually sewing this up. So on this knife, I'm going to have 1 seam on the back. So the whetstone will actually have 2 right there. And then I left the ferro rod loop. I just put one little stitch right there. It will fold, and it will actually be incorporated into the seams on the basically be where the blade is. So it sits like that. Now on this one, if I open this back up, you can see that this side's where the blade will be. It's wide enough. I'm going to have 2 seams on that. So the ferro rod loop will close I'll push it closed like that, and I'll have 2 seams down that, and I measured that all out, and then I'll have it all the way to the bottom. Now if you can see where this stitch ended, I've got just a little bit there. That's where I'll end this first stitch, or start it. So I just stitch in sections. So on this, I'll probably stitch about halfway down, get through the ferro rod loop, or actually stitch that part first, and then I'll do this piece and this piece. So if any of these were to fail, Howling Dingo, like that, did a video here not too long ago where he had a little knife case, like from a buck folder that he found at a thrift store or something like that, and the seam had cut, the stitching had come undone where it had been rubbing, and it was a machine that had done it. So when that comes undone, you grab it and you pull it, and the whole thing just comes unzipped. The way I sew this, I go down and back, and then down and back, and then I double back, and they're actually double stitched. But like that, if this seam failed on this, and I'm going to have 2, but if this seam failed, it's only going to fail up to that point. And then I have the ferro rod, and then I have another seam here. So I kind of plan ahead, because I've never had a seam fail, but it's just better safe than sorry kind of thing. But with this like this now, you can also see where this will start to come together up top, where that will come over, and I'll of course have to trim some off, and this will come back over, and so I'll have to cut in to the knife handle so that this will snug tight, and then I'm going to have to cut around the finger choil there, or the finger guard, up a little higher, so that'll wrap around. And I did leave enough here that I can have 2 snaps, just again I want it to be secure. And then I don't really know where I'm going to go take it from there. I may do the type of case that actually has the two straps that go around it. So maybe this could be a like a scout carry or something. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead because I wasn't sure, you know, where I was going to put this. I definitely wanted to leave this down here free so that I could at least put a Ranger band, because a Ranger band is really good. You can tuck stuff in it, kind of gives you an extra little pocket, but it's also great tinder. It's a waterproof tinder. So with a ferro rod, this knife I modified right here, that scrapes a ferro rod. You can take a ferro rod and you can haul down on a piece of inner tube rubber, and it'll light and it'll burn really, really well. It's actually what they in my research in different bushcraft and survival in different places in the world, that's what the Amazon guys, like the guys that go down in the Amazon, or the jungles, they prefer, you know, Ranger bands and ferro rods. So anyways, that's that. I'm going to go ahead and start stitching this thing up, and that probably will be it for today, and then I'll do an update later on. So I'm hoping this, you know, gives people ideas, helps people with designs, you know, whatever. So anyways,